How did you see the evolution of SEO in time? Where do you see it going, especially with AI coming into play?
What is amazing right now is that SEO is more and more marketing, the core and the more traditional way of thinking of marketing. Because of legacy, I'd say, of historical reason, let's say, the SEO team is a team aside.
You're trying to build an SEO engine for a company that is a competitor of Riverside.
Okay.
So what are the first steps?
How can we personalize the experience to an audience by actually showing that we understand them, showing that we understand the industry, their own problem, and so on, and then be there.
Is there something companies can do to start actually, instead of search engine optimization, they can do a search or ChatGPT optimization?
A lot of agencies, in order to sell a certain tactic, a certain keyword, they're going to look at search volume. But there's a lot of keywords that don't have search volume, that are heavily relevant for the business. Those agencies are not going to look at, but you're going to look at it because for you, it does make sense.
What can you predict coming within the upcoming update?
All right, so welcome to a new episode of the Growth Syndicate podcast. So today we have Baba. So I'm going to, even though I know you, I'm going to read my notes to make sure we say it properly. Well, you're an SEO expert, right? So you've been working in the world of SEO for a really long time. You work in companies like Mollie or Tellent, and you've won, I think, the Friends of Search Award in 2023, right? So you've been doing SEO for many years. You also just became a member of the TGS community. Thank you for joining us. So welcome to the show, Baba.
Yeah, thank you very much for welcoming me. So I'm Baba, indeed. I think you made a mistake. I didn't work at Tellent, but
you didn't work at Tellent.
You work with
Tellent. One of my clients. Yes.
All right. So it's one of the it's one of the clients. And okay, so this conversation is going to be mostly around then the world of SEO, obviously, and where is it going? Everything you know about it. So I think it's going to be really useful for a lot of people because right now is a bit of a black box. I think for a lot of people that are not deep in the trenches. So the first question we ask all our guests is, okay, what is your origin story? How did you get there? Feel free to go as far as you can. So people go when I was born, and some people start like 2 days ago. So just give us a bit of a background about yourself.
Yeah, a bit in between the two. So I'm Baba. I am actually a French guy, partly Belgian and German, so very, very European. I might not sound French, but that's another issue. I've actually, I will not say when I'm born, but I would say rather when I was SEO born. I'd say a lot by luck. Was about 12 years ago, where I landed a job in SEO, not knowing what SEO meant. And by that, I mean, I didn't know what the letters meant. I knew it was search engine. And then I was looking in my mind in French how to say, like, what is the O? And then the company said that was hiring was like, yeah, that's optimization. I was like, oh yeah, it's a bit different in French. It's optimization. So that's how I landed the job. No, I think there was other qualities that I had, I guess, but it was by pure luck because I had no idea what was this field, and I went in, and that was a time of the first Panda update was like 2 months before I joined in. Then there was all the penguin updates, hummingbird, all the zoo, and the Google Dance, let's say. And that's where I learned really a lot in the trenches, a lot of also link building at the time, prospecting like 10,000 of websites a week. There are things you cannot unsee, and very fun too. But yeah, so I've done a bit of everything, like really more operational. For 5 years at a company that was kind of a startup, then acquired by a bigger media company, and then I decided to go as a freelancer because I wanted to, and that was not necessarily a great idea in retrospect, because that lasted only 2 years, and the second year was really difficult, and I had really no network. I just went in and I had literally 2,000 euros in the bank. In Munich, this is not much to pay your rent. I managed to stay 2 years, but at the end of the 2 years, I needed money. I asked my parents. They said, yes, but you have to find a job. I found a job in Amsterdam. So I moved to Amsterdam, joined Mollie, where I was basically the only SEO and the first SEO to lead there at Mollie. And I lasted there for 3.5 years, 4 years.
Yeah, nice.
When I joined Mollie, I had one thing in my head that was very strong, or in my heart, people would say, which is that Mollie, in that sense, that experience is just a step.
Yeah.
And my next step is going to be either back as a freelancer. It's not because I failed once that I will fail all the time. So as a freelancer or my own stuff or something else, but like it's a step. Yeah. I don't know how long the step is. You know, some stairs, the steps are very, very long. This one was 3.5 years. And then, it was evident to me that there was some kind of momentum building up around me, I would say, around the work that I do and the thing that I say. And that's why I decided to, do a little communication plan and launch myself as a freelancer full-time or SEO consultant full-time. That was in March 2024. And since then, I don't regret it. I enjoy it. I have amazing opportunities there. I'm helping different type of clients. And I managed to get rid of the fear of, let's say, having, as a freelancer, you're always like unsure. Is it gonna last too long? Like, am I like safe financially and so on? And right now, I'm knocking on the table, but there's a good pipeline, let's say. So with this, I can then explore a bit more my own processes, not necessarily learn more about SEO. I wouldn't say that I know everything, far from that, but more approach SEO in a different manner, different way. The French way.
People won't know that I'm French.
In a different way than I used to, or that other people are doing, or are currently performing with SEO. All of that in order to help businesses eventually. That's what I'm doing. So I'm a lot into this. I'm also exploring fields that I'm fairly new to, but I feel strongly about, which is green SEO, for example. So looking at SEO from a more sustainable perspective. There's a really great community actually in Brighton. They're on green SEO. I really like talking with them. But also other aspects who are more like positive impact companies.
Nice, really cool.
Very nice.
I think something that I realize is I've been working on SEO as well for many years. So I'm not an SEO expert at your level, but I've seen kind of a transition about the SEO that I used to do like 8-9 years ago versus the SEO from today, where back in the days was a bit, competition was less, right? So keywords were less competitive. So it was basically, okay, find a keyword, look what type of article rank. As long as your home page and technical SEO was kind of correct and you had the backlinks, then you would see some traction, I would say more easily than today. But what I've noticed as well is with time now you have, for every given keyword, you have like 5 articles that say the exact same thing. It's just they copy paste the top ranking articles. Obviously now you have also the search of AI that kind of changes a bit the game. And I think we're all trying to figure out a bit where it goes. How did you see the evolution of SEO in time? And, where do you see it going, especially with AI coming into play?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the thing is that when you're looking at a field, whether it's SEO or whatever field you love doing, you don't see how much thing evolve until people shine a light on it. For me, I didn't care much, but then it's when you have more people talking about a certain thing that you realize, that's true. So, for example, when I started 12 years ago, everything was more about a bit more, I'd say, crafty. Which was more, okay, let's make sure there's keywords. Like we were thinking more about keywords, backlinks, interlinks, all the things are a bit more technical, a bit more like, let's say, logic. In a sense, it's one and zeros, which was great at the time because that's how Google was, and Google was a very basic system. But it's not as basic anymore. It was not perfect. That's why they did a lot of updates and so on. But it's been already, I would say, I cannot put a point in time specifically, but there's been some time that Google has been moving more towards the user perspective. One example would be with Core Web Vitals, trying to put some metrics behind UX, which is more like human interactions. So that was like kind of the first thing. That was also using, I think, Hummingbird update also was around this, or the BERT update, like trying to understand the intent of how words are organized, basically, which eventually all of that is precursor of large language models. I'm not an expert, so please don't coin me on this. But to some extent, like this is trying to understand what is behind the mind of someone, but writing or saying something. So anyway, so that evolved a lot, but I think what is amazing right now is that SEO is more and more marketing. Like the core and the more traditional way of thinking of marketing. SEO is one tactics among all of them.
Yeah,
like there's so many. It's not because you have a website that you need to have SEO. And 5 years ago or 3 years ago, that would like pain me to say that.
Yeah.
So it's more like it's all about a business. It's all about a market, a certain product, a certain audience. Either searching. If they're not searching, and that ICP or that audience you're focusing on, if they're not searching, don't do SEO.
Yeah.
If they're searching, or if you think at some point, because you might not have this data, but you think like, okay, in the thought process, in their own workflow, are they at some point potentially coming to my website? Yeah, let's do something.
Yeah.
To the extent of what you want. I'm not there to discuss budgets, but it's more like, if your audience is not there, you shouldn't do anything about it. A bit like with AI, if your audience is not using, like, I don't know, my mom is not using, for what I know, my mom is not using AI to search for things.
Yeah.
Maybe using AI to create things, but not to search for things.
Yeah.
If my mom is part of my audience, and that's my ICP or target audience, then there's no point for me to try and like build a system so I can rank on LLMs.
Yeah.
So that's basically. So I digressed a bit, but basically, this whole to me the whole SEO practice evolved, but turned for the better to focusing on the user.
Yeah.
While we were usually focusing on search engine.
Yeah.
Hence the name, search engine optimization.
Yeah. So I think that's very interesting, because the way I see it is that I think, but that's my opinion, SEO used to be easier 10 years ago than it is now, just for the fact that before you had kind of like a checklist about, if you were doing those, whatever, 10, 20, 15 things right, your chances of success were higher. Right now is what you say is more focus on the user, right? So you're actually more qualitative data, it's not anymore about a checklist. You actually have to do some proper research and understand your customer journey and things like this, right? So I think it kind of evolved in a more SEO and more strategic role, maybe in that sense, you know what I mean? That used to be, it's a bit more broad.
More branding as well, like you incorporated as a core part of your, SEO team or whatsoever.
It's part of marketing. The thing is, a lot, and still now, because of legacy, I'd say, of historical reason, let's say, the SEO team is a team aside. It's not part of the marketing team. It's not part of the product team. It's like something that is there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they shout, they try to get something, they never get it. But it's not part of marketing. And I think, I don't want to talk too much about organizational because this is more complex than this, but SEO to me is more than ever part of marketing, is more than ever marketing itself.
Yeah.
And actually there's a lot of insights that you can get from SEO that can help with marketing, also developing a product. Like it's more embedded than ever. It's because it's more focused on the user.
Yeah.
Indeed, like we moved from trying to think how a system works to try to understand what an audience think and feels.
Yeah.
And this is challenging, but there's one thing I want to not necessarily challenge you on, but say that I don't agree. Let's say, not roast you. No.
We'll ban that word.
Yeah. Which is that I don't agree that. So you said basically there's now every time you have a keyword and so on, like there's always the same result, or like it's impossible to rank. I don't agree. Because I see that, yes, when you look for the maybe bigger keywords of like the most competitive companies and so on. But if you're looking for those keywords and you're seeing this, maybe you're looking at the wrong place. There's so many other direction and places that companies in different industries, whether in SaaS or B2B overall, B2C, wherever, where it's completely not, I wouldn't say untouched.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of space.
Yeah.
Then it's about being creative. and seeing whether you can still get that angle and like manage to get into this.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I think it's more the fact of, I think there's way more competition on Google than there was today than there was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that all the commercial keywords or whatever, it's impossible to rank, right? It will depend obviously on the niche and your industry. I just think that, like for a random company, maybe it would be harder today because potentially there's more competition or there's more articles about it than there was maybe 10 years ago. Again, I'm not saying, it's what I see with like clients that we have, things like this in niche that also I worked with, like 5-6 years ago versus today. And I look at the difference. I can see they're way more competitive. But again, I'm taking like 2 or 3 niche examples, right? It's not a general.
Yeah. And I mean, you're not wrong. The competition is always going to be more tomorrow than yesterday. So that is for sure. But then it's about, really, if you're just looking at, let's say I'm selling microphones.
Yeah.
Random. Not random, but example. If I'm trying to rank for podcast mic, like of course there's going to be a lot of competition there.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be there. A company should try to, if they're doing this as their core product, they should absolutely try to be there. If they're not there, if they're not in the top 10 or not even trying to, I just don't do SEO, because that means like you're not even able to explain your own product and present to the world what you're able to.
Yeah.
I'm saying again, you don't have to rank number 1. You don't have to rank number 10. It's more like, okay, we're trying to get there. At least like we're pushing. But then, if I'm looking for, maybe someone is looking for podcast mic. It's difficult. For B2B podcast.
Yeah.
Like, of course, there's less competition.
Go a bit more long tail.
Yeah. It's long tail. I'm careful about using the long tail word because it's not a bad word, but it's more. I think it can say everything and nothing. What I prefer there is more to say that, well, this keyword, this query is more aligned, is more personalized.
Yeah.
It's more touching the feelings of that, or like the use case or industry of that person.
You go a bit more niche, basically.
Yeah.
You go,
Yeah, those are like the technical words. I prefer to talk in marketing, which is more like, hey, how can we personalize the experience to an audience by actually showing that we understand them, showing that we understand the industry, their own problem, and so on, and then be there, and then trying to convert them with a proper.
Shall we, just for the sake of practice, try to go into, okay, Baba, what's your process from building SEO engine from scratch to 1, and then from 1 to 1,000, more or less. So let's take the microphone, for instance, right? Where let's say a software for, I don't know, like
for recording.
Let's say like competitor of Riverside or something like this. That might be too heavy on the practical side, but let's just like take this example.
What example eventually?
So the example is you're trying to build an SEO engine for a company that is a competitor of Riverside.
Okay.
So, what are the first steps? I have, let's say, some revenue in, so I'm not pretty pro market fit. I'm just looking to incorporate SEO as part of my strategy. So what is the first thing that you're going for?
Well, the first thing is to see whether there's an opportunity. If there's no opportunity, there's no way you could go there. And then with the opportunity, you can try to define the let's say the budget or the resources you can put into this.
Yeah.
I'm being careful here because I want to say, that it depends.
Yeah, of course.
It depends on the company, because if you're like a rather B2B, like a business that is already kind of started with some kind of organization, that's going to be different than a startup.
Yeah.
A startup, you might want to not necessarily bring revenue. You want to bring more reach in order to sell that and to say like to your investor, hey, I got some more much traffic in a year, invest in me, kind of. So I mean, that's very simplified. Yeah. But so it could be 2 different goals. But I prefer to take the goal of the opportunity and more like the commercial impact to it. So the goal is to first, trying to understand what potential market share you could get.
Okay. How do you do that?
It's fairly simple. I don't want to say all my tricks, but basically, market share means that you have competitors. So it's about looking at the competitors, their current traffic, and just saying, let's say Riverside has, I'm inventing, I haven't looked at it, but Riverside has like, I don't know, 50,000 monthly visits according to Ahref per month, obviously. I'm looking at our current website. Maybe it's crap. Maybe there's just presenting the product, but yeah, we get maybe 500 visits a month. That's good.
Yeah.
Organic, huh? My take is to say, okay, let's just try to reach 5% and then calculate from there their current conversion rate. And then you kind of get, okay, how many times more by just achieving 5%?
Yeah. How much you would get?
Much time more revenue, ideally, or conversions you could get with the current numbers. Yeah. Knowing that the goal is, of course, to improve those current numbers, but at least to get like, it's just to get a feel. Yeah. And it could be like 5%, it could be 1%. One of my clients, I did that work and I was like 5%. Oh yeah, well, that's like 2,000 times their current conversions. Maybe that's too much. Yeah. That's just like 1%, because 1% I think is already 20 times.
Yeah, it's more realistic.
It's more realistic. So it's just like, I think it's more for me as a consultant to a business to kind of sell them, okay, what is the opportunity you can get, but it's also to make them dream in a sense and to tell them this is pretty achievable. And then we're going to build a strategy to make that happen. Yeah. So this is more like when you have to build a strategy. When it's not about building a big strategy, but like already starting to do something, there's still the work of understanding your market, because if you don't understand your market, there's like it's not that you will fail, but it's more that you will lose a lot of time because you were trying to reinvent the wheel. And no, you shouldn't. Yeah. The good thing about the different tools that exist out there, and actually that there is competition, is that you can study them and you can use their own strength for your own advantage.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what I love about SEO. I mean, there's a lot of practices you can use that tactic, but it's really like, even if you have a very small team, you can really achieve a lot by studying the others and making sure you're focusing yourself on the right tactics. Yeah. So opportunity.
No, I think it's really good, because I think we're talking as well about, so I talk to a lot of SEO people, and I think you're one of them that really put a lot of focusing. You often talk SEO revenue, right? So you're not talking about, I'm going to increase your blog traffic by X%, So it's good that you really focus on the revenue, which at the end is the metric that matters the most, right? So yeah, you really connect the SEO with the revenue. It's really important for you. So let's say, to go back maybe to the example of the mic, right? And you're like, actually, okay, we have what's going to bring us revenue, to put it this way simply, is B2B podcast mic, okay? So you optimize, let's say, your page for this. And what is then your efforts? What do you do to actually increase the ranking there? Do you have I'm assuming it depends on the client, on the website, on the status, whatever, but what are the main things that I would say nowadays people can focus on to actually increase the ranking?
So one key aspect and key concept, and it's something I always talk about, and that's my own, I'm trying to coin that term, but no, it's ruthless prioritization. Yeah. It's kind of a mouthful, but basically it's the fact of being, it says it all, completely ruthless. Like, you have just to select one thing and just do it well. In this case, how does it apply to that? Is that, let's say I have already this page that is already built. Great. For me, I'm not necessarily looking at the website. I'm looking at, okay, what is the potential again, but the potential in terms of keyword. I'm going to try to find that one keyword that is reflecting the best your product, that aligns with the audience, that it could be searching for that, and that has sufficient potential. Sufficient potential means a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily mean search volume. I want to be very clear with this. Search volume is a scam, maybe not, but a bit actually, because search volume is only great for, in my opinion, a lot for vanity, for selling, and my theory is that let's say I'm again small player and I have bigger player, and the bigger player actually they're not working on SEO themselves, they're working with agencies. The agencies, in order to sell, most agencies, not all of them, but a lot of agencies, in order to sell a certain tactic, a certain keyword, they're going to look at search volume.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of keywords that don't have search volume that are heavily relevant for the business, and those agencies are not going to look at, but you're going to look at it because for you it does make sense.
Yeah.
So long tail, you can call it this way, or whatever. But like the goal is to identify this keyword, and from this keyword, look on the field. Look on the field. That means do a search yourself, whether it's on Google or any AI search engine or whatever search engine exists that is relevant to your audience, and see what is coming up first. I look at the top 3 and the features, the search features that are there. And that's it. I don't look below. I try to just look at number 1 and try to understand why are they here and how can we create a content that is at least 10 times better than the number 1. That means a lot of things, but it's 10 times better. But, and it's not 3 times better. 3 times better is not enough. You're biased. So 10 times better is actually much better. But that only is possible, I'd say, if the keyword is actually of an intent that you're targeting, that is relevant to you. And that Google also, in this case, Google also understand the intent the same way that you do.
Yeah.
So it's maybe a bit cryptic. But I'm working in, for example, with a client. I will not name it, but they're in the translation space.
Yeah.
And translate a web page. That could be a user, a common user, like a consumer using that, or it could be a business. Usually, Google will put the consumer result first, like DeepL, Google Translate, whatnot, and maybe page or like result 5, 6 might be some business, like articles or tools. And there, I'm just saying, we cannot rank number 1, so let's rank number 5 instead of this first B2B related result. So it's kind of you have really to get a feel properly of the search result, and then create a piece or masterpiece, let's say, that is much better than the most relevant result on that.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question for this, because I totally agree with you and your approach. The only doubt I have a little bit is you have to validate this beforehand, and I think it's a lot of effort, and then the information can be a bit biased, because indeed, maybe you're like, okay, I want to rank for a keyword that has no volume, right? I think the volume can work a bit as an indicator to say, okay, some people are looking for it. If you don't have volume, then you can say, okay, it might be relevant for my audience, and then you can put a lot of effort in building a page, whatever. But what if actually there's like 2 people a month looking for this? Right? So how do you, because then it's a lot of research in advance that you would say, is it actually my customers are actually Googling this or not, right? So how do you validate this, that at the end you don't build something 10 times better, but you end up with 2 clicks a month?
Yeah, but I mean, 2 clicks a month that both of them convert is better than.
Yeah, but I mean, you sell mics for $20 a month, whatever, you know what I mean? Like I'm just thinking like, isn't it then something better to do than this, instead of the full marketing strategy?
So something better to do than that I didn't get.
Like, I would just my question is, if you're like, okay, there's no such volume.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay because we all know the Ahrefs-Semrush gives you an estimation, right? But it's not exact science. Yeah. But like, if there's no such volume, and I can't actually say people are looking for it. Yeah. Does it make sense to actually invest on SEO, or do you say then it's not my channel and then I use whatever other channel, right?
No. Yeah, I get it. So I think what I forgot to explain is, no search volume, but you have all the data that can also confirm this is the right approach, which could be internal data and knowing, let's say that some people, you might see that in CRM or any database, if you have that information, of course, that are coming through the organic channel, that are buying a mic for that purpose, but they're coming not from that page, but from somewhere else. Yeah. So the thing is, like, you already have an audience that already loved and bought your product without you doing anything about it.
Yeah.
So the goal is to kind of, it's ditch the search volume, but look at this internal data to kind of create a hypothesis of like, okay, well, this is what we could go for.
Okay.
And then what you could go for, you could go for like doing intensive research, which I personally prefer to.
Yeah.
I'll explain after why. Or creating content right away and then see.
Yeah.
Honestly, both are fine. That also depends on the business and what's it, the politics within the business, the organization. You have some business are a bit more risk averse, and others like, okay, we want to make sure that all the resources we spend on this are pretty well done. So there, the research is really more important. And others just like
try it out. See what
let's just do it. Yeah. Let's see how that works. I'm okay for both. I prefer the research one because if a research is well done, then creating, you know you're going to create something that will work.
Yeah.
That's the ideal scenario. Yeah. Of course, market changes. There's always things, but at least you have some certainty by doing the correct research, saying, okay, well, if we create a content, and there's a content brief that comes with this, if there's a create a content for that keyword, we create the content with those elements here and there. I don't care about the URL. I don't care about the meta titles and description. This is okay. This is so 2012. If I have if I'm answering the question first and then I'm letting the user explore or things like this, then I know by publishing this article, internally linking it properly on the website, making best practices of SEO in there, I should be fine with that article on the website. One thing, I forgot.
I want to dive a little bit into the foundation, which indeed is the research. And you mentioned okay, I search for the gap. What type of content are they creating? Like my competitors and whatsoever. What are some things that you see most SEO teams or marketing teams underlook when it comes to customer research for SEO in that sense?
You mean more tactics?
Yeah, more tactics to collect the right data. Because at the end of the day, I feel like if you don't ask the right questions, and I'm quoting you on that one, in case most marketing teams do not know how to collect proper research from the market or speaking to customers and whatsoever. So I'm just wondering, you mentioned it's so much gathering research, but how do you gather the right data for it?
Yeah, and the main question is what is the right data?
Yeah.
My take,
or at least the process behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. But so my take, and maybe other people don't share that, that's fine, is to try to narrow the field of search. That sounds like a name of a movie, field of search. No,
that could be a good one. Trademark.
Coin that term. No, but what I mean by this is that, so the foundation of all SEO is, basically SEO or SEO, is keyword research. So that's something that you need to do. To what extent, that really depends on you. There's countless of time I spent such crazy amount of hours going for keyword research, rabbit hole, finding great ID, but eventually they're not that great, stuff like this. So such a waste of time. I'm trying to align my business and my way of doing with my personality, and I like to say I'm a bit lazy, and lazy is not a bad word. I want to make it a bit more positive. Lazy is is some people would say that more efficiency.
Yeah.
So how can I find the fastest way to do quality keyword research? And it's not to start with keyword research. It's actually to start with the business. It's to start with the commercial aspect of the business. It's to understand. It's again understanding the product and the commercial strategy. Maybe there's a product that they has better margins, or there's a new product that they're selling in 2025. So that is important for them. There's so many different, not tiny, but some aspects, so a new market, whatever. So that allows already to prioritize and to give a direction to keyword research, meaning all the rest, pardon my French, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Are you going to beep this?
No.
Good.
We're going to limit this as you do. No worries.
Good. So it's about narrowing down all the different routes you could take to the route that the business is willing to take, and is focusing on, because then you will have not only the SEO working his own stuff, but actually the whole business and the potentially sales machine behind you in order to push this. And you have more pressure coming to you, but it's you moving not against the flow. So, and then once you have this information, it's where you start, and that really depends. There's so many different ways, but one way to start is just to stop with one word and maybe start with a core keyword, or that's like podcast mic, and then starts from there. Look at, you have the different tools, but you have, Ahrefs, for example. Right now I use a lot just Googling, looking at auto-suggest, what Google provides, and then looking at who is the number one on the podcast mic result, if the content is relevant to some things I'm doing, and then put that into Ahrefs, looking at the keywords that they're ranking for, trying to see the one that align with me. That takes a lot of time. And then it's once you have a list, what I do is I try to see and define what I call the realistic ranking, which is not number one necessarily, but it's like what, with your own website, with your own resources, what is like the most realistic ranking you could reach. And basically, if one of your direct competitor is number one, my take is that you can take him. So it's like this. And from that, my process is to try to put a monetary number behind the keyword ranking at this number ranking, because then I'm able to prioritize keywords. So it's all about trying to narrow down and trying to make sure first you don't waste your time on things that don't matter, because at the beginning it might be more that you need to focus really on those core keywords. Later on you can focus on other things. For B2B, I would say it's kind of a follow-up, I guess, to your question, is there's something that is commonly missed, and that relates to what we talked about before, is this aspect of personalization, of saying we understand you, we understand your challenges, and we're not just having an ego trip talking about us to you. We're trying to get you, like, we're trying to tell you we relate to your problem, and we have the solution for your problems. Not all of your problems, but that problem.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so I think for myself, I have like two follow-up questions. I think one of them is, I don't know if you'll have an answer because we talked about it already in the past, but it's more, obviously, like the ChatGPT-like tools of the world are, becoming more and more important, even though I think they still represent a small fraction of the volume in search so far, right? But I think they're going to take a bigger proportion in the years to come. Is there something companies can do to start actually, instead of I would say search engine optimization, they can do a search or ChatGPT optimization?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I don't know what's the point of trying to find a new name when it's basically the same thing. So you have a lot of people saying, oh yeah, I want to call it LLMO and I want to call it GEO, just like...
No, it's part of the search engine.
Yeah, for me, like, I think it's better to focus on other things. Everyone wants to coin a term, and that's great for you, but it's not helping my business, or the business I'm helping rather. So first thing, then I want to be very careful of what I'm saying, because maybe 2 months from now it's going to change.
I mean, you don't know, right? It's what do you know today?
So
12th of February,
2025.
2025.
Be clear. My take is that, yes, there's less clicks that are coming from upper funnel content. The thing is that right now what happens with AI overviews or ChatGPT is that they would sum up a certain content, but it's not sure how people respond to that summary. I think there's a lot of, a gray area or like a dark area, like we don't see. It's very blurry. Like, okay, they're going to sum it up, but do I trust this summary, or do I continue searching because I don't get it? I talk to people that are saying like, well, they see a summary, they find it interesting, but that still don't have an answer on how to do exactly that. And sometimes it's wrong. So, right now they have like this blurry, feeling, let's say. But then my take is that no one is going to be able to replace you talking about your product. I don't think an LLM, it can summarize, it cannot create, or it can create a lot of product that don't exist.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not able to explain as well your brand and your product as you can.
Yeah.
Do it. So my take is to focus in other marketing terms in the bottom funnel.
Okay.
Because of, again, that's where the money is.
Yeah, makes sense.
It might not be perfect, but there's a lot of things. Bottom funnel doesn't just mean your product. It doesn't just mean, just a pricing page and stuff like this. It means different things. And bottom funnel for SEO is different than bottom funnel for marketing.
Yeah.
So interpret it as you want, but basically focus on your own properties, on what you excel at best. And if you want to educate and create content to educate your audience, which might be considered top of funnel SEO, do it, but don't necessarily do it for the sake of SEO.
Yeah.
Do it because it might be used for other practices.
Like brand,
So make sure SEO is more integrated within the whole marketing discipline, let's say, or department, rather than just being this
good
owner.
one.
Yeah.
So what is your biggest SEO success story? If you had one that you're there, man, that was awesome.
Start banking, right?
No, I mean, this is more of a concept. This is working on it. But no, I would say eventually it's the recognition I got from the industry in 2023, the Friends of Search Award for the non-dip website relaunch of Mollie.com. There has been some other website relaunch since. That's another business decision. But for me, it was more of a highlight, not only purely about the SEO, but also about the communication within the company.
Can you explain a little bit? What was it? What was the project?
The idea is that we used to be on a headless CMS, and then we moved to WordPress. And a slight rebranding at the same time. It was like interim rebranding, let's say, because the website was very old. That made it more aligned branding. The branding evolved while we were working on it, but then it was again migrated again. So we changed platform. We changed the branding. We cleaned up the website to some extent, and basically that's it. There was no domain change, gladly. But what happened is that we had a time frame initially of 6 months. It took 9 or 10 months. It's normal. But we did it in a way, in an approach that I think for me is a bit different than from what I see now. Also a bit more is kind of different, which is to have a strong alignment with the dev team. By that meaning that, for example, I proactively started content audits before the whole project started, because I was talking with other people that said, hey, it's coming. So I did this, and then I put myself, we put ourselves in the best of light towards the developers, saying, hey, well, we're going to do a content migration eventually, but I don't remember the numbers, but 10% of the pages you don't have to migrate, because we're not going to migrate them. They're not important to us. So with this in mind, you're saying, hey, you have less work to do.
Yeah.
And we're going to help you make that happen. And then I think what worked well is the concept of ruthless prioritization again, which is really for any ticket that there is, we have to carefully think, is it critical for SEO? Is it going to kill the SEO performance? Or is it something that can wait? It can be, so I had a priority metrics of critical, high, medium, low. Basically high, medium, low, it's for after the launch.
Yeah.
And there was very as an advice for everyone who's doing a bit of technical SEO or in general SEO is like, be careful of what I call SEO perfectionism. Like the best practices say, you need to have this, this, and this, and this. But a lot of time it's not unnecessary.
Yeah.
A good example is before the migration we've done at Mollie, we had a problem with the href line. We just removed them at some point. Did that change anything? No positive, no negative. The same. It was gone for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months or something like this. And there was no impact whatsoever. Which was a problem because it didn't fix our problem.
Yeah, of course.
But
at least it didn't make it worse.
But it didn't make it worse. Yeah, exactly. So with this, it's just like, it was in a migration, which is already a complex project because you have so many different teams that could play together and so on. You have to make sure that everything is as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
So meaning you remove all the unnecessary.
Okay.
So yeah, that was part of it. I'm sure there were other things at the jury. So
no, but that's cool. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think time-wise, I'm going to look into maybe moving to the next section. So I'll take the next one and you take the other ones after. Good for you?
Yeah. Can I just mention that Baba gave a great roundtable during one of our meetups, and the file that we're going to share, that's why I wanted to put it, because I think it's actually, I looked through it, of course, not with your guidance. Maybe you can put a loom or something inside for people to watch it later. Yeah. But it's essentially all about, what was it called? Stop ranking, start banking, which is super cool. And then you explain actually some plateaus about, our rankings are lower, but our revenue is higher, which also ties back to the SEMrush example.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to point out it will be in the description of the episode for you to take it out and
nice. Yeah.
More about it.
Yeah.
So next section.
Yeah. So next one is fixed Q&A. So it's a set of 4 questions we ask every guest. It's so not rapid fire, but it's still like try to keep it a bit short answers.
That's the challenge already.
I work on it. So the first question is, what's a controversial opinion that you have?
Damn it, I had it earlier.
Sorry.
What is it?
I'll take your time. A good example is for example, one of us episode we has Jack Stainer, which is the CEO of Scale, which is an SEO agency, and then he just told us as an SEO guy, because an SEO guy is just block is dead. So that was a pretty good thing to hear from an SEO guy.
Yeah. Well, I agree, but then I cannot use this one.
No, no, that was mine.
No, damn it. Can you? Do you
want me to do another one?
Again, the question?
Yeah.
No, the same question. Yeah.
The same question?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is a controversial opinion that you have?
I think that the rise of AI is not going to kill SEO.
Yeah.
It's, to put it very simple, AI and a search engine are just tools for people to search for something. Before that, there was the yellow pages or any other way, going to a library, for example.
Yeah.
There's always going to be search. It's just the way the search is happening is different. And I think also the expectation of an answer is so much more intense in a sense that people expect quality. But there I'm talking more as us professional in our own bubbles. I think, again, I'm always taking the example of my mom or my dad. They don't care as much of the quality of the answer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. What is your biggest fuck up?
I have none. I'm French.
No, when Nathan Latka said, "I never. What was it? I always win. I never fail."
Yeah. No, I think my biggest fuck up is it's actually might not appear much to most people, I guess, but for me, it's to spend too much time on things that just don't matter.
Yeah.
For a business. And repeating the same error. By that, I mean that I'm always trying to find the best way for business to reach the audience. And sometimes I don't manage.
Yeah.
But sometimes I will also spend time on it and I realize at the end that I've already done this for another client and things like that. So it's kind of, it's not a fuck up, but it's more of a waste of time that is eating me slowly.
Okay,
but that's my perfectionism, maybe.
Cool, I get that. So next one is, who do you learn from the most?
You guys.
Hey, there you go.
I mean, partly true. I think I learn from the most. So it depends on the time of my career at some point, and I think recently, and someone that I believe has done great things is Tom Critchlow with the SEO MBA or the agency SEO MBA. Very, very qualitative course, and it's all about more. I mean, I did the course also executive presence, which is more about presenting SEO to CEOs rather than talking between SEOs and talking being nerds around it. So I think that, and then would be also people that are very fresh in SEO, because they have a different point of view that a lot of time I feel bad about, because it's like, oh, they're challenging me, or like they're pushing me to raise more questions of things that I'm used to do. But yeah, it's good to have this fresh blood.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. So what is your favorite tool for 2025? I know we just started, but what is your favorite tool?
It's not an SEO tool. Is currently Bolt.new.
For the win.
Yeah. Fanboys here.
I'll drop a referral link.
Sign up with Baba account.
I launched it last week. I spent too much time. Not much money because it doesn't cost much, but too much.
$20. $20 a month. Same price as AI building.
I'm more at $50 a month plus all the add-ons, because I need. I'm developing a lot. I just developed a new tool last week.
Nice.
For startups, actually. Anyway, I like to say I'm an addict to it. It's not great to say that, but I spent a lot of time on it. But it's really helpful for me because it allows me to improve my workflows, spend less time and getting more clarity with, rather than having some tools that are doing some of the work and but not satisfying in terms of I don't know,
results
UI or results or something like this.
Nice,
awesome.
Georgi.
Do we want to skip the kudos for?
Yeah, we can.
Or do you guys have? I have one.
If you have one, go for it. I don't have, unfortunately.
Do you have someone to say, "Hey, nice job, great work,"
or something that you've seen? It doesn't have to be a person.
Or you can
a company that done something great, whatever, or something that went wrong.
Or you can dunk on someone. Yeah, exactly. If you want, I can go first to inspire. Kudos for Curiosity VC for making such a good event for their portfolio, but also for a lot of CEOs on the topic of enterprise sales. And we had the pleasure of speaking in there. I mean, Toby represented us and I was there to film some content whatsoever. I think the event was great. I feel like more VCs should do more of these open events, showcasing what they do, what their portfolio do, also share some knowledge around there. And I just wanted to say that we're open to collaborating as well. We have how many? We have 7 to 8 seasoned growth experts who are eager to share their knowledge. So, kudos to Curiosity for that one.
Nice. I actually have 3 kudos. No, I could
give me one. Send it on Slack.
4. So 2 actually are for SEO people that I don't know personally, but I do follow and I really enjoy their content. The first one being Will Reynolds. The first one being Will Reynolds, who is from Sierra Interactive. I think they're based in San Francisco somewhere, Seattle maybe. Anyway, so Will Reynolds had been on the field for at least since I started, and now I see a bit more of him, and I think he has also a great vibe of sharing his content face to face. It's kind of it's very, very informative and very true and on point. And I just want to say kudos to that because it's also inspiring.
Yeah.
Another kudo is to another SEO that I don't know personally either, but I also enjoy the content, which is Mark Williams Cook. With more of his tone of voice and his non-bullshit or flagging when things are bullshit on comments. I know there's other people that do it very well too. I haven't had the chance to follow them fully, but he's doing very well. Like recently shared a post about some people saying, "Oh, you can do keyword research with ChatGPT."
Yeah.
And showing examples. Sorry,
I think I saw that.
Yeah. But I liked a bit of context, but still like true and on point. And I think it's good to say when things are not correct.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm also trying to aspire to. And the last kudo is maybe a bit cheesy, but it's to my partner, my girlfriend, where we might be going through some difficult time. I will not go into detail, but but we're going through that together, and she's very strong, and I'm very, very glad that she's here to help me also see the good lights of SEO, let's say, and to keep focus on SEO.
Nice.
So yeah,
nice, really cool,
sweet. Yeah. So shall we?
Yeah, move on because I got nothing today.
Okay. Go ahead.
Nice.
Okay. The next part is explain that LinkedIn post. And in this one, you initially, already shared Google is evolving, right? So what can you expect or what can you predict coming within the upcoming update?
I mean, so the post was about Google restricting crawlers to crawl the results of Google.
Cracking down scrapers.
Yeah, exactly. Cracking down scrapers. And my take is that, yes, they will, it's been long overdue, I'd say. I'm pretty sure you can go over it. I haven't really followed the news since, but I think we need to remember that we might not have access to this data, and that should be fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we don't have access to, but there's still things we do have access to, and I come back to which is revenue and growth and conversions, basically. So it's about finding the right proxies and the first-party data that can help guide your SEO performance. As for what can the next Google update bring, what they're trying to do, my guess and what we see is that they're trying to, of course, crack down on spam content. And I'm being careful, not saying AI content, because AI content is per se not a problem for Google. Bad SEO, bad AI content is a problem. So I think they're going to continue on this, and they not once a month, but regularly. I think they're going to try to do the same. What they want to do is improve their product, and their product is Google search.
Yeah.
The way it's going to take maybe a new layout, maybe something. Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see when that comes. Right now, for me, if I focus on what my clients need, which are more revenue, then I'm fine. Like any tool, we can adapt.
Yeah. Cool.
Perfect. Yeah. So last section.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it, Georgi.
All right. So you just need to say this choice or this choice. No explanation needed. First thing first, basing your SEO strategy around competitors or your own research?
Competitors.
Okay. Building tools with Replit versus building SEO engines. Can be both. I mean, both.
I'm not sure what you define by SEO engines.
So, strategies, let's say.
Okay. Strategies.
Buying backlinks in 2025, yes or no?
No.
One thing that makes your SEO growth skyrocket.
Creativity.
Optimizing for Google or LLMs?
User.
Perfect. Even better. And lastly, are you coming to the next B2B growth meetup from the Growth Syndicate?
No, I organize my own meetup, and it's on the same day. Thank you for the opportunity to do a little commercial.
No worries at all.
Awesome. Is there something you like to shout out to close? Like anything you want to say, share?
Well, first, thanks for inviting me. It's my second podcast, my first in person.
Nice.
Really enjoyed the conversation, and I think in general, what people need to remember about SEO, it's first, whatever tool people are searching on, this is always going to change, but your user searching for an answer, it's not going to change. Then it's about focusing on your product and understanding, like, okay, what are my strengths and so on, and making sure that you're able to present that properly on the website. And the last is monitoring growth by revenue and not by rankings or traffic.
Yeah.
Unless your objective is to get more reach for another goal, which is to get more money.
Yeah.
That's my take. Yeah.
Nice. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Baba.
Now let's have a beer.
Yeah.
Too early.
Never too early.